Go. Lewis, what are you doing here? Why are you wearing that? Did you want to do a Rare Delicacies? Please tell me that's all you want to do.
So the reason I've hired you is because I have terminal brain cancer, and I want you to film me to make a video diary for my unborn son.
You ready for this?
Hello.
You need to get out of that house right now.
Why do you look scared? Don't be scared. It'll all be over soon.
And here we are for our last Halloween entry into Rare Delicacies. And of course, I brought back our longtime friend.
My name is Lewis, represent Man Bites Media, and I always love coming on this show because some of the cool movies that we bring up and some of the cool stuff that we talk about.
Yes.
And you got a similar interest to me, so this is going to be an interesting experience.
Interest of which you can find on his podcast now, which is available on all formats, I believe.
Correct.
iTunes.
So you could go on to manbitesfilm.com, and it has a link to every podcast channel that you could ever imagine. We're on 56 podcast sites, so pretty much anything that you could imagine, you're able to find.
And actually, thanks to him, you can even listen to Rare Delicacies on that format as well. So everyone, what are you bringing us today?
I'm bringing a movie that I think should be called Peach Fuzz because, yes, Peach Fuzz is fucking amazing in this movie. But the movie is actually called Creep. This is a 2014 film. Imagine like a Norman Bates character with found footage. What would Norman Bates do in a modern society?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because the first episode of Documentary Now had Bill Hader and Fred Armisen doing a parody of Grey Gardens where they're in drag, and at the end of it they turn out to be serial killers. So unfortunately, I may be on the wrong foot for this, but because right now we're in the Hader renaissance between Barry and how amazing he was in It.
It's only two actors. The names escape me right now. I'm so sorry, but honestly, it's only two actors in the whole film.
Okay,
that's it.
Nice.
And it's very limited, and the whole story revolves around this person that puts out an ad for a videographer. He wants to record 3 days of his life. And the reason why is because he's diagnosed with a brain tumor, and his wife is pregnant, and he wants to give something to that child.
All right.
Or so we think. Dun dun dun. And the plot thickens from there.
Found footage is a minefield every now and then. Well, because here's the joke I always have about found footage is that you always tend to know how found footage movies end because in order for the footage to be found, something horrible would have had to befall the filmmaker in question. And the ratio of how many found footage films that end with a happy ending is pretty lopsided. The only one I've encountered that actually ends on something of a someone comes out of it okay is Chronicle.
Yes, this is a good found footage movie.
I didn't say they were bad, I just said they were predictable.
It's predictable, but at the end you're just like, oh, I didn't see that. It's M. Night Shyamalan done well ending. Okay,
M. Night Shyamalan for that brief little hiccup that he actually got back on our good graces.
Exactly.
When he actually directed found footage.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Oh, yeah.
So there might be something there. So, okay.
It's interesting.
All right, so, and this is viewable on
Netflix right now.
On Netflix. It's available on Netflix right now. So, go on Netflix, find it, and then watch it, and then come back to us later. This is Creep. To my credit, if you sat and watched it with us, you will know that I was definitely right about the inevitable fate of said filmmaker. The road to get there was vastly more interesting and definitely a lot more unconventional compared to the likes of what we commonly associate the found footage genre with.
Especially horror found
footage. You get the vibe that it may have started a long time ago with Christopher Guest, but moving forward, that a lot of films have been getting around to being made with improvisation.
Yeah.
as its dominant focus. But it was fascinating. I recently met the actor who plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows,
Ooh.
and I asked him how much of it is actually scripted and how much of it is improv. And he actually said the entire thing is scripted. They film as much of the scripted bits as possible, and then they just let loose and just do the scene again with improv. And it's just by fortune that all like 90% of it. The improv stuff.
Together,
well, no, 90% of the improv stuff winds up being the stuff that ends up being used in the end anyway. But then again, this seems to be a lot more controlled, where they may have had like maybe just a rough synopsis of how the scenes are supposed to go.
They had, at least from what I was reading online and stuff like that, was that they had a script that had the descriptions of the scene, but that was the extent of it. They didn't have any words or anything that were going to be depicted. They had a story that they were going to follow, but that's it.
Because you need to have some kind of planning in order to be able, especially to map out a lot of the scare sequences. I mean, some of them though, it does make me feel, is Joseph a bit paranormal, especially the bit on the balcony. I was like, how did he get there? He checked.
Well, he's a freaking stalker, so stalkers have like this special skill to hunt their prey, like the wolf.
He might have been on the roof.
Probably.
He might have been on the roof of the house and then jumped down behind him.
Because there was a huge crash sound.
Yeah, there was right before he showed up there. I see why found footage has been so, has prevailed as a genre, because the whole joy of it is, in a way, it's kind of like a first-person video game.
Exactly.
The idea that, something's coming up and hitting you right behind you, but such is life. I mean, we all of us are living a first-person video game.
Yeah.
Where shit's going to come up right behind you, and you're going to jump, and you won't know how the hell that person got there.
And I love how this does it so realistic. Like, his reactions are legit how I would do if I was placed with those scenarios. Granted, I wouldn't be so trusting as he was in the film.
I love the fact that the ending of the movie does call out his stupidity.
Yes, it does.
Why didn't you at least look behind you? I mean, it just seemed dumb that you would just sit there.
Which I was like, thank you for that. I can't believe I'm actually thanking a psychopath like Joseph, but he is calling out the one thing. I'm like, where he's like, there's so many times where he's making noises. You can hear that. You can hear that right now. Norman, can you hear that? I can hear it. Yes, you can. My air conditioning's going off right now. That's about the same sound of a breeze off a lake.
I remember the first time I saw this, I had the same question about the end scene, but then the second time I watched it, the third time I watched it, I started picking up small cues in the background where would kind of obstruct his like hearing capabilities of what's going on around him.
Aaron is not particularly bright.
No.
As well, the fact that there are so many times he's had red flags pop up and he has not done anything about it. I mean, the thing he should have done before that ending is call the cops and tell them, hey, the guy who stalked me told me to meet him right here. I would like you guys to accompany me.
But also, you got to remember the reaction the cops had initially when he did call them.
It doesn't matter.
I would be kind of turned off by the cops too at that point. I'll be like, all right, these guys ain't gonna do jack.
They're not gonna do jack at the time because unfortunately he had nothing for them to go on. Now he does. He has the thing for them to go on.
Granted, I wouldn't go to the lake. Period.
I get why he went, because there's that sense of if he doesn't go, he has a feeling that this might not end if he doesn't go.
Oh, and you better believe I would not be sitting on a bench.
No.
I would be walking around doing circles around an area.
I would not be staying stationary in one spot either. Yeah.
No.
But as we've clarified, he's not particularly bright.
And he's super trusting.
Even when he's trying to be bright, it doesn't work as well as we think.
Yeah, it does not.
No, it really doesn't.
With the sexy dance and everything, not sexy.
Yeah.
Not so sexy.
Actually, that's another thing I gotta praise about this one versus what a lot of other found footage does. Even though Paranormal Activities, particularly the first one, really tickled on it really, really well. I am a big fan of, and Hereditary even did it.
Yes.
In many wonderful spots. Specifically lingering shots. I'm a big fan.
Yes.
I mean, as fun as it is when all of a sudden, oh my god, jump scare, it's fun, but it's cheap. I'm a bigger fan of the uncertainty of what the hell they're gonna do. I mean,
I love how they do it in this.
And there's a bunch of shots that do it incredibly. I mean, of course, when he's going downstairs and you see him wearing Peach Fuzz up against I mean, it's bad enough that he's blocking the door and he's wearing
doing
it.
the sexy dance.
Well, yeah, at the time he starts rubbing his butt up against the door, and I'm like, when he's just sitting there and just answering in the binary, yes, no, that alone is unnerving. But then when he starts up against her, I'm like, oh god, no.
He starts white boy dancing.
When you find out a revelation. You find out that he says that he raped his wife wearing that mask.
Yeah.
Because she turns out she has an animalistic fetish, or at least that's what he believes she has. But then you find out that it wasn't his wife, that it was his sister, and that all like
Did that actually happen? Because the guy completely lies about everything in the storyline.
if this is the guy who's willing to bury an axe in someone's head and do it as many times as the final shot of the movie pretty much hints that he does, it would not have put it past me that he did that. As he says, he romanticizes
Yeah.
the wolf, and like he says, the wolf reacts entirely on instinct of either does he want to kill, does he want to love,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So
So
it's-
it's I don't know. It seems to me pretty damn likely that that's the one bit of truth that he probably did say. He just switched it that it was his wife as opposed to his sister because he knows that if he said sister flat out,
Yeah. That'd be bolting
Yeah.
over there and, okay, I'm out.
yeah. I mean, granted, you should have probably. I mean, he was a little uncertain when he said, that he raped his wife. The fact he was voicing regret about it was, and he was also drunk voicing this regret.
And not only that, he does that throughout the film,
Yeah.
too. He freaks you out, but then he lures you back in by giving you his trust, willingly opening up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, he kind of lures his prey in, like
Always
like
making
a wolf
it-
does.
Yeah, always making it out like it's that things are gonna get better. I promise. My freak out was a spur of the moment. Bout of unbridled emotion, and
And then the phone call.
then that.
And then the phone call that you just... That's the final anvil that falls,
Yeah.
and that's...
You need to get out of that house right now.
I think that's where everything in the movie really, slingshots across, and you start seeing where everything actually falls, finally, in the film.
This one has a very good sense of humor to it.
Oh,
This
yeah.
one is. It also
It's
is
riddled.
incredibly funny at the same time, and that actually helps a lot because, and not just in found footage films, but in a lot of horror films in general, you got to be very confident in how well you've grabbed your audience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna keep it one particular tone, all the way through. I mean, Hereditary. I keep going back to it, but Hereditary is a film that is just constant
Yeah. It's
doom
a
and gloom.
barrage.
It is a marathon of a movie to get through because it is punishing.
Yeah.
But because it is so gripping and even if you don't really get what the finale is, you're still
Yeah.
so gripped by what's going on.
Yeah.
Because the film's confident enough to be able to hold on to that tone and make it interesting. This is one where, because we are so familiar with the found footage genre, because we're so used to its tricks, the thing that this one had above all others is the fact that this one had a very demented sense of humor to it.
It has very dark humor, but it's not graphic in any way.
No,
At all. There's
No.
no gore in this film.
not at all. I mean,
Nothing.
That's another thing. This is a very easy watch. I mean, weirdly enough, if they dialed it back on the language, I bet they could have even gotten away with a PG-13 rating.
They could have gotten away with PG because until that ending.
Until
Even if
that
they-
ending.
Even if that ending, if they didn't show the ending and they had the camera fall or something like that, they could have gotten away with a PG.
Yeah.
Easily. Because this film doesn't do much. It's the dread.
Yeah.
And it's our own mentality that gets put into this film.
Exactly.
That kind of oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, something's going to happen, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what unnerves you throughout the film.
Yeah, because it has these lingering shots where with the level of uncertainty of how it's going to be played. Because unfortunately, at the beginning, it's established that he is something of a prankster as well.
Yeah.
Where he loves doing jump scares. They take the cheap device of jump scares and they make it part of his character where he likes doing that as a bit of fun as well. So you don't know, especially in the early portions, you don't know if it's going to be just him doing another prank or if he's dead serious. The moment that you really tell things are going to get serious is at the second you see him blocking that door with the Peach Fuzz mask on. That's when you know she's getting really serious.
And the growling that he does and everything.
Yeah.
It gives that, okay, this guy's legit, gonna... He's gonna pounce.
Yeah. If you are the kind of people who are really kind of tired of the found footage genre, this is why I stick with this, because every now and then it will surprise you. Chronicles surprised me.
Chronicles was a huge
Paranormal
surprise.
Activity surprised me.
The
first one, definitely, I haven't seen the sequels. As long as you try to find a new way to play with it, just play with the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it also comes down to good setup and...
iconic characters.
Yeah.
This one has that Peach Fuzz character that will stick with you forever.
Well, this one, I'm even going to go go a little bit further, saying this is actually one of the few where the characters themselves are the heart and soul of this. The problem is with a lot of the other ones, especially Blair Witch and especially the original Paranormal Activity, is that the characters are pretty much they're bog standard.
Yeah.
It's not about the depth of their characters. It's more about the situation and how unnerving that is. And of course, the idea of that is to put the audience in their seat. So it's good to have those characters that are so cookie cutter that you can put your audience in that same spot with them. That being said, though, it does kind of be an insult to intelligence when you have people who are very obviously much smarter than they are. They say, don't film it. I'm gonna film it. I mean, there's still the end-all be-all question of, why the hell are you still filming this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're a cinematographer and you're a camera person, you live with your camera. It's basically like your additional appendix. You walk around with that thing everywhere.
You heard me say it a couple times. Why are you carrying a camera? But at the same time, though, you're with a person who you don't know how to read this person. It's good to document whatever this guy does for the sake of evidence. I think if all you have to say is evidence.
Yeah. But like, there's certain moments. I think there was only one real moment where I'm like, why are you doing that? No. When he leaves his house after hearing that noise.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Sorry. Not a chance.
What I should have done, I would have just made a beeline to the car and just drove over to whoever, any kind of sympathetic guy's like, I got some footage of this guy. It's nuts. It's crazy. I'm staying with you.
Yeah.
Should have done that. Heck, should have done that the second you got the freaking package with the plush wolf, the knife, and the disc.
Or look at the camera. I mean, you're recording all this footage, and you see that the camera moved. Because I'm sorry, but if I put a camera somewhere, I know exactly where that thing is. And you better believe, if I see it moved in the morning, I'll be like, what? I'll play it back.
Yeah.
See what was the last thing recorded.
The whole purpose of you doing that is to check it back. Heck, even the people at Paranormal Activity actually screened the footage from the night before. That was part of the major aspect of the plot. So, either way, I know it sounds like we're poking holes in this, but
it's a fun movie to watch.
It is a lot of fun to watch. It is one that will grip you from the get-go because it lulls you in with this little mischievous humor that it hits you with in the dead beginning. It starts you off, and even if it starts off a touch awkward and a bit off-putting, particularly when
it stays like that.
But the thing is, but the thing is, we've met characters like Joseph in our lives, people who talk about doing things like a tubby. And think of it, and he talks about like it's the sweetest, most endearing memory of his childhood with his dad. But it's one of those things that as you progress in the movie, and then you think back to that, and you think about certain things might have happened in that tub that might have molded him into something worse down the line. Probably. So that, yeah.
And then, but the thing is, the movie has, and a good movie makes you do this.
Yeah.
Makes you go back and question things and be like, that was stupid, but oh wow, how awesome was this? And this is a movie that will actually stick with you for a while.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna be going on and like, look at this, and then you're gonna want to watch it again, and then you're gonna catch so many more things that you pick up.
Yeah.
And since it's such easy access on Netflix, that it makes it so much easier to rewatch again.
Yeah, and this will definitely be for your Halloween viewing this year. It's on Netflix. Make it a must. So, I think to wrap this up, most definitely goes without saying on the menu, and or to be more accurate, it's Halloween in your treat bag. So that is definitely our gift to you. So again, Lewis, thank you for this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you for bringing me
and
on.
Definitely go find his stuff, Man Bites Media, on all platforms,
all podcast platforms,
podcast platforms, and this one on Netflix, and this one, make it part of your menu.
You ready for this?
Okay. Joseph!
This is called an adventure. Woohoo! We don't know exactly where we're going.
Kind of looking like he's breathing hard after a night of heavy drinking. And dogs don't have sweat glands, but do werewolves?
They have armpits?
They have armpits, yes, but do they sweat?